Hello. So, I thought today I would do one of those mid-month check-ins, and for the main reason being that there's some subjects I want to talk about that I plan on videos I plan on making, but I haven't had time to really prepare. So, and what I mean by prepare means actually sit down and think about what it is I want to talk about. So, and that sounds subjects such as some videos that will be kind of coming up are self care, folk magic, um, that kind of stuff. Other forms of divination, books I'm enjoying. Um, I thought I'd disclose this because of a previous video. I sometimes am approached to review books, and I'm very selective about the books I choose to review and then talk about on my channel. Last week I talked about Green Witchcraft by Paige Vanderbeck. That is a wonderful book. My daughter has already absconded with it, with my copy. I will have to obtain a second copy, and probably a third for my other daughter. So that book was sent to me as a thank you for reviewing her book. And it's a really charming book. If you haven't seen that video yet, if I remember, I'll link it below. If not, it's just a couple of videos ago, so you can go and check it out. It's the one with the thumbnail, Green Witchcraft, the book cover. It's a great book for beginners, and nice to revisit too if you've been green witching for a long time. All right, enough about that. I just wanted to mention it because I didn't mention that book in my favorites. Yeah, January favorites, because it arrived I think in February, so there you go. All right, mid-month check-in. I'm already rambling. I didn't even start yet. Okay, so the decks I'm working with in February, I'm really enjoying. The tarot deck I'm working with is The Influence of the Angels by Jody Boginski-Barbesi and Karen Boginski. This is a beautiful tarot deck. Many people have done walkthroughs of this deck online. It's Rider-Waite Smith based, clonish. It's art and digital collage. For the most part, really well executed. Some cards are complete misses for me, but overall, it is. I think there's just there's two cards off the top of my head I could think of that are complete misses for me. One card is just the anachronism of a woman with tattoos with a tattoo on her arm, and it's not the anachronism being that this person looks like they're from the 20th or 21st century, whereas everyone else doesn't, and including her hairstyle. And then another one, the Eight of Cups, which is my favorite card. My favorite card in the Rider-Waite Smith, is just badly executed. Here it is, badly executed. So this card I really don't like, which is too bad. It's my favorite card. It's my favorite tarot card, and I don't think I can find the other one. I think the other one might be the Nine of Swords, where it's just the anachronism is just too much for me. This one is just too anachronistic for me, and not for me personally, but for the deck. And this is one that came with really bad gilding, and this is what the gilding looks like now. And I did I featured it in a video after I modded it, just by smooshing the edges down with a bone folder, and I'm just so happy. So I'm really enjoying working with this deck. what's funny is that if you know me, it's like me in guidebooks. No, I don't use a guidebook, or I don't need one, or I don't like them, or whatever. This guidebook is really good because these are these are portraits of real people in this tarot deck, and the guidebook tells you who it is and a little bit of their story, and and then how it applies to that tarot card. So the meaning of that tarot card. So that's really, really, I'm really enjoying this tarot deck. I will continue to use it for this month. The oracle deck I paired with it is an oracle deck I've had for over 20 years, and it's the Angel Oracle. I've had it almost 25 years. I bought it, I think, in 1995 by Ambika Wouters, and yeah, this is I showed this in my previous video, that this is the oracle deck I'm using. I think it pairs nicely with my Influence of the Angels tarot, although I might switch it out for a different angel deck, just as Angel Oracle, to see how it works with it as well. Yeah, just for my daily draws. I draw a card every day. I ponder it. I move on, and I carry on with my life. I'm sticking to my no journaling, no that kind of stuff for the time being. The next, so two other decks I'm working with. So there's other decks I've been working with, in other words, getting to know. And I'll talk about the ones that I modded this month. So I went back to the Lightseers. So I'm not willing to give up on this deck in terms of, I think I mentioned in my other video, it's a beautiful deck. It's very, and it's extremely popular. Like, people love this deck. I haven't quite connected to it yet, although I'm trying. This was an edging job gone bad, like gone really wrong. And what I did was, in my previous video, I show you how it's like it's a dusky blue. I really wanted it green, so I just went over with one of my green markers over the blue, and I think it's a nice green that matches the green on the backs. Again, this is the Hay House one. Mine is cut nicely. It's got really nice cardstock. I think what I failed to mention in my previous video, where I talked about how I use Crayola markers on this one, it's deceptive. It feels cardboardy, but it really isn't, because it doesn't soak in the marker very much. At least that was my experience with it. And I don't know, I think it's this cardstock has a really nice heft to it. So, you know what I mean? Like, this kind of, it shuffles really nice. And I riffle and bridge and all that stuff too with it. And I don't know. So I'm still working with this one. Again, it's one of those decks that I'm not ready to let it go. But I haven't quite connected with it yet. Like, I don't feel a connection to it. And but I do appreciate how freaking beautiful it is, because it is. All right. The other deck that I modified this past week, actually, I think I did it this weekend, is the Mystical Dream Tarot. I received it as a gift from my friend Kimberly. You're so lovely. I didn't do anything drastic to it. Well, it's borderless, so it doesn't really need anything, right? But I did edge it, and I don't know if I don't know if the camera's going to catch it, or if you'll be able to see what I did to it. I basically used the silver glitter marker Crayola. And these are pink markers, so they have that the tip is springy, right? So you have to press down to release the ink. And I really like the way it turned out. It's subtle, but it adds it zhuzhes it up a little bit, right? I could have gone metallic to match the backs, but after my last experience with Crayola Metallics, I really didn't feel like trying it out on this deck. So yeah, so it's a silver glitter, and I like it very much. What can I tell you about this deck? This is its own animal. This is not a so the images, Jules that are, oh, what is Jules channel name? Oh my god, I love Jules. Well, if you're watching TarotTube, you know who Jules is. She did a video on this deck, which I thought she did a really good job at describing it. The imagery on this deck is the author's dream symbols. These are dreams that she's had. So it's very personal to her. And although there's some symbolism that's universal, it's not a tarot deck. I can't call this a tarot deck because it is not. She's changed the names of the major arcana, and that's fine. Other authors have done that as well. But the imagery, for instance, some of it is so far removed from the tarot card that honestly, it's not. I don't consider this a tarot deck at all. I consider this an oracle deck, and because of the nature of here we go. Here's Seven of Pentacles. There's nothing in this card that would bring to mind a traditional meaning of Seven of Pentacles. And also the fact that there's water, and because dreams are ruled by Pisces, and there's lots of water in this deck, and there's water in the Wands suit, which is traditionally fire, the representative of the element fire. There's water in Pentacles cards, which is traditionally the element of earth. Especially for me, who I work a lot with the elements, I find that really challenging to work with. I find it challenging to work with this as a tarot deck. Therefore, but as an oracle deck, you could get a full reading with one card. The book is quite good. My experience was I drew the first card I ever drew from this deck, gave me a complete reading. I ended up working with that card for days, maybe even a couple of weeks. But it's not a tarot deck. It's not a tarot deck. It's not a deck that I'm going to that I could shuffle, spread out 12 cards and do a zodiac spread and a tarot reading with. No. But it's a nice oracle, and it does call you to look at a deeper focus, within yourself. Okay, another deck I'm working with. Okay, so those are the two I modified. The Light Seers, I added a layer of green to correct that dusky blue that matched the cards but didn't quite work with the backs. My Mystical Dream Tarot with the glitter pen marker. What other arts and crafts did I do? Oh, I made a bag for my Tarot of a Moon Garden. So I went with blue, and I use yarn scraps, leftover yarn from other projects. I mainly work in acrylic now for my tarot bags. I started out with cotton yarn, but it gets stretched out and baggy, and I don't like the way it looks. Whereas acrylic maintains its shape. Also, yarns that contain wool irritate my skin, so I have a little bit of sensitivity or maybe an allergy. I don't know. I just don't, tactile, I just don't like it. It's got to be soft and it's got to be synthetic. So yeah, so I made this bag to house my Tarot of a Moon Garden. Although when I received it with in a Peggy bag, because I got this from Lisa at Supportive Tarot, but I've since reassigned that bag to another, job. It lives in my my handbag or my shoulder bag. I carry a messenger bag as a handbag, and it lives in there, housing other things. So yeah, so this is the bag I made for my Tarot of a Moon Garden. They're quick to make, and it just makes me happy. I like to once I connect with the deck, I like to make a bag for it, and then I could. However, I haven't been able to yet let go of packaging, like boxes. So as it stands right now, I still have the original boxes of all my decks that I've made bags for on the top shelf of my on the top, not of my bookshelf, not even the top shelf, the top of my bookshelf in my bedroom. And they just sit there, and I have to dust them once a week because I can't let go, which is ridiculous. It's like, some of the boxes that are up there are really old. My Osho Zen box is up there, the one that looks like a VHS tape box. Yeah, it's up there. I've taken my Osho Zen out of there and took it out of there 15, almost 20 years ago, and never put it back. I still have the box. I need to work on that. That's a whole other psychoanalysis that needs to go on. Then the other bag I'm working on is for this deck, my Tarot of the Magical Forest. So I love this box. This box is adorable. This is why this tuck box is still here, and that it didn't get recycled. This is probably going to go live with the other boxes I can't let go of. But I thought it was time to make a bag for my deck, and I borrowed this yarn from my daughter. I love the name of this yarn. So this is the one I'm using to make and this is where I'm at with the little bag. So I haven't decided if I'm going to make like a flip top closure or just the same kind of drawstring closure that I did on my previous one. I think I love this green color. It's called, I brought the label in case any of you are curious. It's Red Heart with Love, and the color is called Lettuce. I just thought that was really cute. It really suits my Tarot of the Magical Forest, which I absolutely adore. This deck took the place of Mons Tarot. Like, once this came into my life, Mons Tarot got put aside, and Mons Tarot has since been rehomed. Love it. What else can I tell you about? I have more stuff here to show you. I just don't know what. Oh, okay. So another deck, because I'm still talking about decks I'm working with, right? So working with my Influence of the Angels and my Angel Oracle for daily draws. I'm working with the Light Seers Tarot to see if we can connect, we can bond. Working with the Mystical Dream Tarot to see what I'm trying to figure out what its specialty is, right? Because I find it compelling. So here's a deck I got for Christmas. I call this my Scarlett Johansson Tarot. Okay, no one's ever mentioned it, but look, that's Scarlett Johansson. And this deck has 3 faces of Scarlett Johansson. I knew I was going to flub that one because I called her Charlotte earlier before I even started recording. All right, so here's the card, just like the one on the cover. So Scarlett Johansson. This is Scarlett Johansson male. And we have Scarlett Johansson again. This is what's making it difficult for me to connect with this deck. Okay? I want to connect with this deck. I have a strong relationship with Fae. I love my Fae decks, whether they're tarot, my Tarot of the She, my Brian Froud Fairies deck. What's up with this? I had to say something about it because I find it absolutely distracting. Now, honestly, I get some really good readings from this deck. One card pulls, though. This is, and I think it's because it's, people have said it all before, right? It's because it focuses on okay, this guy, perfect for the Magician, because looks exactly like someone I knew who was a little sketchy. So, yeah. And I thought there were more because my experience with this deck, right, it's probably because on the box and everything, I was expecting to find more than 3 Scarlett Johansson cards. There probably is one more and I just missed it because it was late last night when I went through it. But for sure, those are the 3 faces of Scarlett Johansson that are in this deck that I find absolutely distracting. And I really want to love this deck because, you know, when I bring a concern to this deck and I pull one card and I read from the guidebook, this beautiful guidebook written by Barbara Moore, for those of you who don't know, but I'm sure everyone does, that if you're watching tarot videos, you know who Barbara Moore is. I'm just having a hard time with it. And I figure that let me just name it, the Scarlett Johansson deck, the 3 faces of Scarlett Johansson, and let's see if that can help me get past it, because it is beautiful. And yeah, how come no one's ever mentioned this? Maybe it's me that's been living under a rock, and, like, you know, other people have, and I just didn't hear them or didn't watch that video. But yeah. So what else have I? Oh, I got a couple of more things I want to talk about. So I'm going to talk about 2 decks I received in the mail. One was a gift, and the other was one I ordered. I'm in the process of, I moved out a lot of decks. I mentioned in a previous video how I had a box of decks that were accumulated in 2018, and they just, I didn't make any decisions on them during my first step year, 2019. And then come 2020, I decided to move out all the ones that just sat in the box and I was never able to connect to. So that was really good, getting rid of, moving those out, the ones that were in the box, and then going through my shelves. I have 2 shelves in my bedroom, on my bedroom bookcase, where I keep my tarot and oracle decks. And it was a really good exercise for me to go through all these decks and to work with all of them last year, 2019. And the ones that I was ready to move on have come off the shelf. And there's probably a couple more that I'm just hanging on to because of sentimental reasons, but not the kind, like, I hang on to the sentimental decks. Like, I have oracle decks from, like, way back when that they're French language oracle decks. They're out of print that I got way back when in the early 90s that I'm never going to let go of those. Those were with me during a very very tower moment. They were with me at the very beginning, and I just love them, and I want to keep them. They're also a memento of when I lived in Montreal. So no, I'm not going to get rid of those. So, and I don't have a problem with them sitting on the shelf. They're not bothering me. I don't have to feed them or anything, right? So they're fine. They don't ask me for anything. It's all good. But then there's those decks that are occupying space, that were occupying space, that I'd look at and say, well, I wish I was cool enough to get you. Is literally what I'm thinking when I look at them, right? Like there's some decks that I would look at and say, yeah, I wish I was cool enough to get you, but I don't. Or I wish I get, I wish we could get along, but we don't. And if you're wondering like which decks are these, I have to tell you, anything by Alana Fairchild, I don't know. It's just not my vibe. Another author author/artist, deck creator, that is just not my vibe is Tony Carmine Salerno. I wish I did, but I don't. So those decks had to go. I also cleared out half my Doreen Virtue decks, and not because I really couldn't give a rat's ass about her and her epiphany and whatever her life story, situation, whatever is. No, it's just the ones that I don't need anymore. I had them. There was a time when I had them where I had certain people that used to come to me for readings, whether they were email or in person, where they were helpful, and I've just replaced them with different. I replaced the 6 or 7 I moved out with like one oracle, so that's like also save space. Once I'm done, once I'm done, not probably, because I like watching these kind of videos, so I'm going to make them too. I'll go and record a video on what I ended up keeping, because I'm always interested in when people are talking about their clearing out. I'm interested in what they're getting rid of, and I'm also interested in what they're keeping. And so mainly, Alana Fairchild decks, Tony Carmine Salerno decks. They're just not for me. Angel decks, other than the 2 that I have, which is the one by Ambika Waters, and the other one I can't remember her last name. Kimberly. I think it's Kimberly Maroney. I'm not sure if that's her last name, so don't quote me, because I'm constantly butchering people's names. I'm constantly getting authors, deck creators all jumbled up in my head. Those are 2 angel oracles I kept. I've had them since the beginning of time, my time with cards, and those are the ones I'm going to keep. But I also, I think I moved out some animal decks. Speaking of which, so a deck that I ordered this week, because I moved out a lot of oracles, and I kept my Earth Magic cards by Stephen Farmer, because I just love them. But I was craving more nature based oracles. So I love Ted Andrews. I have his books up here. I have digital copies of the books that are not on my shelf. So I ended up getting these, and I'm glad I did, because I don't know if these are going to be in print for very long. And they're the Nature Speak Oracle. They're smaller than your Hay House oracles. Not that much smaller, but smaller. And the cardstock is like my medicine cards. It's probably even thinner. Comes in this 2-part box. Inside a 2-part box is another little box with a tuck box with the cards in them, and this little book. And they're based, Nature Speak, it's based on his book, Nature Speak. And I'm not going to do a complete flip through. I could they weren't in order when I got them, is what I'm trying to say. And I could do a complete flip through. If you want me to, just leave a comment below, and I'll organize them and do a complete flip through. But I really was craving photographic nature oracle. And I love that it's based on a book that I really love, which is Nature Speak. And how nature, the answers to our questions and all that are in nature. Observing nature is a divination practice, as a spiritual practice, right? So yeah, they're nothing special, but I love them. First of all, I like the green borders. Okay, so yeah, by today's standards, you know what I mean? It's like if these were made today, okay, if he was still living and these were made today, they'd be borderless. Well, I'm not. They could, we could say, oh, what they should be borderless and all this stuff. But these are from like probably 15 years ago. Let me see what there's a year on this. Hang on. Right there, 2006. All right, so these are like 14, 15 years old. So, yeah, by the time they went to print, when they were created was at least 15 years ago. So here we have, I already showed you that one. So yeah, so how could these be better? They could be better if they were larger and if they were borderless, if it took up the whole card. But don't care, because I'm happy I got them, because I have a feeling that once these are gone, they're gone. I don't know if they're going to continue to print them or not. I think on Amazon.ca it said like 3 left, and it didn't have the more on the way kind of thing. These are the backs. I love them. So when I got these, I got the bug in my ear, or the bug in my brain, that, oh, I need to get the Animal Wise Tarot. So I went to YouTube looking for flip-throughs of the Animal Wise Tarot. And I'm not going to order it from Amazon.ca, because every second review says I thought I was getting the deck and book set, but it's only the book, misrepresented. It's like $40-something, whatever. I'm not going to take a chance. I'm going to just be annoyed if I have to return it. So anyway. So I took to Evil Bay, and I went to check out the first to YouTube, and Earth Fairy, Andrea Leah. Oh my God, I hope I got your name right. Earth Fairy, lovely lady. I love watching her channel. I hope I remember. I should link it below. It's a smaller channel, but I really enjoy. She shares her tarot decks and her yarn crafts and stuff like that. And where was I? Yeah. So I landed on one of her videos where she compares first and second edition. So of course I got the bug in my brain. Wouldn't it be nice to have the Animal Wise Tarot to go with my Nature Speak Oracle, yada yada yada. And I get the bug in my brain that not only do I want this Animal Wise Tarot, I want the first edition. I take to Evil Bay and see what people are asking for it, and slowly back away from the monitor. Okay. So yeah, I don't know if it reads well. I don't know if it will enhance my life. I just got the bug in my brain because I really, really love this. So we're there. All right. One last thing. I had mentioned, I think it might have been on my video where I showed decks that I wanted to rehome. Which I'll have to check to see the box before. I have another box second box that's going out. If there is anything hard to find or whatever. There are 2 decks that I'm going to feature in a video looking to rehome, and they're independently produced, and they're like in brand new condition. I used them, and then that was it. It was really quick relationship. I was surprised myself when I ended up packing them up and putting them aside. So I'll do another video for a couple of things that I'm looking to rehome. Anyway, so on that video, I think I indicated on my wish list, I've had the Roots and Wings Oracle on my wish list since I first laid eyes on it. And I didn't even know this existed. And Texas Rose contacted me and asked me if I wanted it. And it is the Roots and Wings Pocket Oracle. So it's a little baby version of it. Oh my God, stop it. Look. So it comes in this really nice, like, Altoids style tin with this sticker on it. These are the backs of the minis. Now, Texas Rose said these were seconds. And I don't know. I like to think that I'm pretty fussy and can tell, could instantly tell what was seconds about them. I can't. These are beautiful. Oh my God, they're adorable. So there's the card with the spread, the garden spread, and then on the back it talks about a little, there's a little information card here. What I did learn is that the mini deck has 40 cards versus 60 or 63 of the full-sized deck. And I compared. I went on to Cat Ryle's website, and I got this is basically like the guidebook, like the guide sheet to this deck. And I compared it to the one that she has up for the full size, and she did an amazing job. Of course, well, it's her deck, right? But I don't know. I think she did a great job in editing this one, because the 40 cards that are here are the 40 that I really would, I would have been disappointed if any of these 40 were missing. But the other ones that are not in the deck, I don't feel like I'm missing out because they're not there. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know if it makes sense. But anyway, look. It's adorable. I love it. Thank you so much, Texas Rose. I know it's not in focus, but it's very nice. And I love it. So I've been using this one too a lot, getting to know it. And let me show you a couple more. I could do a full flip through if you like. Like if you have the full size. I think there's a YouTube video where someone does a comparison. I'm not sure, but I can't do a comparison. All I could do is a flip through of this one. But I have to say, I'm so happy I have it. So of course this is staying with me, like it's not going to be moving out anytime soon, if ever. So yeah, so that's the Roots and Wings Pocket Oracle by Cat Ryle's. And yeah, a seconds edition, or like, whatever, imperfect, I don't know. I don't see it, so I'm just happy with it. I love it. Thank you so much, Texas Rose. I think that's it for my February. Oh, one thing I wanted to share. So, January favorites, I mentioned how I listened to tons of Audible of Carolyn Mace. Well, February has been the month of Sandra Ingerman. So, Awakening to the Spirit World, The Shamanic Path of Direct Revelation by Sandra Ingerman and Hank Wesselman is what I'm listening to right now on Audible. Oh my God, that's terrible, right? And this one I'm really enjoying. It's read by Leslie Howard, and she has a great narrator voice. I did listen to samples of Sandra Ingerman's other books where she does the narrating, like she does and I love her writing. I'm not sure. I'm not sure her voice is. I don't know how to. Okay. Leslie Howard has a nice, calming voice, whereas Sandra Ingerman is very passionate about her subject matter and is not calming. It's more energetic as as a narrator, and I find her a little jarring when I compare her to this narrator. But anyway, I'm really enjoying this audiobook. And I have some more queued up, I think. Let me see what I have in my library here. So yeah, February is the month of Sandra Ingerman. What else do I have here? Oh, I don't know. Okay, I don't have it queued up in order to tell you, but I'm starting with Awakening to the Spirit World, and I'm really enjoying it. It's a subject matter that I've been reading. Well, I have some old books on my bookshelf on shamanism. One of my favorites is this one by Michael Harner. Look how beat up it is. It's pretty beat up. I love this book. So yeah, I've been that's what I've been listening to. I've been reading and Audible and all that kind of stuff. All right, so that's it for me for my mid-February check-in, saying hello, letting you know what I'm up to, what I'm doing. Anyway, that's pretty much it for me. Oh, I did want to mention that I am pretty excited to talk about another book that was sent to me for review, and it's on divination, and it's just fantastic. I'm just waiting to receive my copy, my thank you copy that they send to thank me for the review, so I can show it to you, like the physical copy. Yeah, and it's available for pre-order, but I'll talk about it in my next video, or when I do the video where I talk about the book, and I'll supply the links and all that stuff there. But I'm pretty excited about it because I got to tell you, it's been there's been a little bit of a drought when it comes to books on divination or even books on witchcraft the last little bit. I'm just so hard to please. I can't stand it. Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you're still with me, you've been watching me for over 40 minutes, and I hope I made it worth your while. I'm wishing you all a beautiful day. Take care. Bye-bye.